of God need to be way less of whatever they are nowadays. Modern men of God are so much more weak than we've been historically. If from any time period of a man from any time period somehow got to this time period, like to 2026, and saw how men were acting, they'd be like, where's the men? They're all I see is women, or all I see is weak men. That's the problem, is that historically, if you have any man from any time period historically, from like decades ago or earlier, they would be extreme right-wing, racist, homophobic, blah, 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 whatever you call it, based on a modern standard. And that's a good thing. We should, in a way, be so extreme that our modern day culture hates us. If we're not, doesn't always mean there's an issue, but there's something there if you're not called a racist, if you're not called a homophobic, racist, misogynist, there's something wrong there. If you're not called that, I would say that because our modern culture is so far against God that it is a privilege being called that. You know what I mean? That our culture has gone so far insane. We see this with the pride parades and the pride stuff and everything going on in Canada, America. That our culture is so far insane that being called racist and homophobic and misogynistic is, I would call that, I would say take that as a badge of honor, saying that, oh, I'm actually sane, I'm the sane one here. So that's what I need men to God to be like that. Not I, but God needs men to God to be like that. Be in that place. But what's that good stuff? How do we do like that? Well, first of all, modern men and modern Christianity has become so passive and so unviolent in a way that I don't know how to phrase this without being weird. But again, that's the point. I think that we shouldn't be afraid to tell the truth. So modern men are too passive and too non-aggressive, more so. And we need to be not dominant, not aggressive per se, but willing to be bold enough to stand up for the truth and protect people, which requires us to not be passive, to be humble, and to be controlled, but not passive and not violent per se. Not always. Violence is not the first answer, but definitely an answer to a lot of questions we have today. But in context, and what I mean by that is that protect your family. If your family comes under threat, protect them using big boy words and big boy muscles to protect your family. That means violence. If your family or people you love or your church or your flock, when I mean flock, I mean like whoever the man protects, because men are meant to protect. Men are made by God, and God's image and intention for man is to protect the vulnerable, to protect people, to provide for them. As a man, that's your job and responsibility. Your family, your church, your neighbors, whoever under your care, your co-workers, to protect anyone and everyone who is under your care and control, or can be. Even on a stranger, you're supposed to protect people. And that means men must be physically dominant and fit to be able to do that. Controlled power. It's not just, a man must be controlled with feelings and power. We should have all these feelings and all this power, but control it to the point where we can not be aggressive when we don't have to be. You understand what I mean about this, by self-control. It's basically self-controlling our power. With great power comes great responsibility. Essentially, that's the most true quote, I think, from any superhero movie. And most comic, actually, too. And with that, we need to be men who are not passive in, not just protecting, but in truth. We can't just be weak and timid and not want to say the truth. We have to be bold and aggressive while saying the truth. Like saying, this is the truth, like it or not, too bad. I don't care what you like. Here's the truth, is the truth. We must be like those. We must not be afraid to call people on what they do that's bad. So calling out sin is not bad. That's a good thing. We should call out sin, especially for other Christians and for your family. Calling out sin is what man of God should be. Again, it's not condemning them as a person, but calling out their sin, their actions. Okay, love the sinner, hate the sin, right? So we should be go-getters, men who protect, who provide, who are self-controlled in feelings and power, and not passive, not timid, but humble and meek, and not weak, not timid, not passive, right? That's what the men of God should be like. And historically, that's what men have always been like. Until like 50, 60 years ago, or say probably 60 years ago. That's an issue. And we have a culture full of men like this, who run the governments, who run churches, pastors and stuff. It's not just the world, it's Christians and the world who are misunderstanding what it means to be man. And men, that's your responsibility. No one's to blame for this issue except for you. You have the choice and responsibility and the call to action to be a better man, to be a stronger man, to be a man that actually does these things, stands up for the truth, and owns the responsibility for their actions. Something I think we all mess up on, yeah, but at least knowing what you did wrong and owning your actions, we should all be doing. And we should all be admitting that as a culture, we haven't been doing this as much as we should. Owning responsibility. And also, we haven't been doing what we should be as a culture. The culture has been so insane that we haven't put the chance to do that. So, yeah. In conclusion, all of this, men, stand up, be the man of God God made you to be. Go out there, fight this fight. Stop being passive. Go out there, be a strong warrior for God, because men are warriors and are meant to fight physically, spiritually, mentally. We're fighting the battles that the world can't fight. That our world, the other Christians can't fight. Men need to be strong and aggressive. Go out there. Get him.